This is a trade I want to go over and explain management, position management. I'm already in the trade. This is on PL, Planet Labs. It's an episodic pivot strategy. Very common. Google it, episodic pivot. So basically, it had an earnings report, and it did very, very well, apparently. And then, as you can see on the bottom right, the yellow and blue dot, like the telephone and light bulb things, that's the day of the earnings report release. It popped up, it had a big gap up, and that's the day I entered. Indicated by that blue horizontal line. It's up over 51% on these shares right now. It's been It's been 20 or so days since I opened the trade, and it's up 51%. Doing very well. I'm basically trailing my stop up. So as price rises, I move my stop loss up to lock in my profits. If it starts to come down against me, then I get out. Guaranteed profit already. So I'm basically trailing the stop loss up using the 10-period simple moving average. That's the green line, the solid green line. And the exponential moving average is the dotted green line. The 10-period exponential is the dotted green line. The 10-period simple moving average is the solid green line. I just like to have both on my charts for each, the 10 and the 20 period. The 20 is the yellow line. But we're using the 10 to trail up our stop. And so let me start from the beginning. Earnings report released after hours, and then the next day price pops up, and you go then you go down to the intraday charts to get a good entry, but that's another topic for another video. And so on that day I entered, the original stop loss is placed a penny below the low of that day. So after you get in the trade and take the entry, you place a stop loss at the low of the day, but a penny below it. That's what I usually do. As you can see here, I typed that in there. It says trail your stop with the 10 or 20 day moving average once they surpass your initial stop. So like I said, initially your stop loss is below the low of the day, the day you entered. And then once the 10-period moving average goes above that original stop loss, basically above the low of the day of entry, then you start using that simple moving average as your trailing stop. Okay, I'm going to repeat again. Your first stop loss is placed below the low of the day on the day you entered. And then when the 10-period moving average goes above that original stop loss, you start to use it. You start to use the 10-period moving average as your trailing stop. So as you can see, I'll move forward in time. Price has never closed below that moving average since I've entered the trade. So therefore, I am still in the trade. Currently, every day I check price to see where, to see where the price is at, but more importantly, to see where the moving average is moving to. So yesterday, I had my moving average at 20.77. Okay, now that's because that's where the simple moving average it was. Did I say I have my stop loss there? Incorrect. I have an alert set there. Today, as we speak, price went up, so the simple moving average did as well. Now the simple moving average is at 21.1 or $21.10. So I'm going to cancel the alert I have and create a new alert where the 10-period simple moving average is now. So 21.10. If price goes below 21.10 or the simple moving average, I will get an alert to then go to the position and manage it. Okay, now I do not exit when price just trades below that average, that moving average. Here's the rule. You exit the trade at the end of the day if price looks like or is going to close below the moving average. Okay. Now, intraday, it might trade below the SMA, but then pop back up, and you're safe. You're still in the trade. But if it, at the end of the day, it's coming close to the close, and price looks like it's going to close below that SMA, then you exit. So currently the 10-period SMA is at 21.10. I have an alert to send me a text message on my phone saying, hey, price has reached this level, go manage it or look at the chart and see what you want to do. And like I said, if that's close to the end of the day, then we'll exit. But if it happens like intraday with plenty of time before the close, then we'll just be aware of that and keep an eye on it throughout the day to see where it goes, because it might end up trading back above the SMA, and that will keep you in the trade for longer. Because with these episodic pivots, you don't really know how far they're going to go. They could run for months. They could just keep going. So you can see before the earnings report, price was going down. Price wasn't doing very well. Okay. But then the earnings report happened, and it basically turned the company around. They might have given positive forward guidance or saying, hey, we were profitable or we expect to be profitable or whatever the case is. Basically changed the sentiment of the company, the public sentiment for the company. And since that happened, price, basically it just means the company's doing great, everybody's happy with it, so they're buying the company, buying the stock. You can see it's happened a couple times before. Not that first one, not that second one, but this third one here, it happened. Price wasn't doing that great, and suddenly the earnings report came out, and it went up a little bit. But then this next one, really great. Price was flat. Earnings report, episodic pivot, and it went up. It rallied pretty hard for a long time. For at least a month, 2 months maybe. So yeah, let's see, September 8th to October 8th. Okay, a month. So let's see, how long did the other one last? This one, it wasn't even that great, but this one lasted 4 months. Like I said, it wasn't that great. So we'll go with the good one for a month. We should expect to be in this trade for a month based on history. So I entered on December 11th. So January 11th is coming up. But that's a month, huh? Yeah, I don't really think it's gonna fade out already. That's just personal opinion. But like I said, we don't trade with opinions, we trade with mechanics and rules. Mechanics based on rules. One other thing I'd like to mention about this episodic pivot: when those occur, it is defined as a turn in price. You can see that price was basically flat around the $7.30 level, and when price opened after the report here, it opened above that level, above that resistance, so it had room to run, okay. Same thing happened over here. It wasn't really a flat level, but it was almost above. It was right at the pivot over in this area. So on day one, it traded above that pivot high right over here. So basically, episodic pivots have to, open above a resistance level, or at least show some strength into it, showing that it's gonna break that resistance. All right, and that's it. Still in the trade, up 51% or so. Alert set at 21.10. Price is trading at 23.68. I entered the trade at, I believe it was 15.48 or 15.58 maybe. So I'm up $8 a share. And as it stands now, where the moving average is, I could lose $2 from where it's currently at if I get stopped out today. But that still gives me, at least $6 a share. So, not bad.